Good morning, friends. Today we are going to continue the next part of this unit. We are today going to talk about the instrumentation and the application of the phosphorometry. Yesterday we talked about the instrumentation and the applications of the fluorimeter. In that we have seen single beam fluorimeter, double beam fluorimeter and its application, their working and the construction that we already seen. Same way we have to talk today about the phosphorimetry. Of course, in the fluorimetry, fluorescence were studied. In the phosphorometry, phosphorescence will be studied. In this particular thing, we will see that the compound which exhibit fluorescence are likely to show the phosphorescence as well. Hence, instrument used to study the phosphorescence any instrument used to study the phosphorescence must be able to distinguish between the two. The phosphorescence is used to study in which the delay between the time of the irradiation of the sample is done and the phosphorescence is observed. The phosphorescence consists of the hollow cylinder having two slits in the circumference which are equally spaced. Here you can see. Okay, this is here. Here you can see the two slits are there. These are the two slits you can see easily. Okay, this is the source. Also lamp is there, sample holder is there, sample cell is there. This light goes there, then come to back and goes to this particular secondary filter, then to the PMT and the readout device. The same things are there, just a little bit difference is there. The phosphorimeter, phosphoroscope, consists of the hollow cylinder having two slits in the circumference which are equally spaced. A pair of the rotating shutters with the opening is driven by a motor. The shutters are arranged such that the opening in one is the line with the uncut portion of the other. Means when one window is opening, other will be the shut or say closed. The working of phosphorimeter is similar to the fluorimeter. The light from the xenon lamp, here light should be there. The light from the xenon lamp passes into the primary filter and fall on the sample. The sample cell of fuse cords is kept in liquid nitrogen in bracket 196 degrees centigrade in a Dewar flask. After irradiation, the light is cut off using the rotating shutter. During the darkening, the phosphorescent light is allowed to pass through the second slit into the secondary filter. The emergent beam is then sent to PMT where its intensity is measured. Resolution time, it is a time interval between the time of irradiation of a sample and the time of detection of light by the PMT. Grating monochromator can be used instead of the filter. Again same, xenon lamp is using light from the xenon lamp is pass through this collimating lens to the primary filter, then the focusing lens to this particular one slit, means one opening of this particular hollow lamp. This whole assembly is called as a phosphorescope. This particular light is going inside this particular sample cell, then this light emerging from this sample cell is nothing then sent to this particular secondary filter to this PMC, so through this secondary filter to the PMT and then the readout device. Applications, there are limited number of the applications as compared to the fluorimetry. This is used in the trace analysis of a number of organic compounds with conjugated system. It is used in the detection of a small amount of cocaine procaine and phenobarbital in blood serum. It is used in the determination of the aspirin in the blood serum and the plasma. It is frequently used in the biochemical and environmental studies. Then comparison of the fluorimetry and phosphorimetry. The experimental setup for the phosphorimetry is more complicated than for the fluorimetry. Hence, phosphorimetry has limited applications. Phosphorimetry studies are done at low temperature, that is minus 196 degrees centigrade, whereas fluorescence measurements are done at room temperature. Phosphorimetry is more sensitive than fluorimetry because scattering of light is less in phosphorimetry due to the low temperature. Hence, phosphorimetry is preferred when sensitive measurements are to be made. In case of the complex sample, phosphorimetry is more selective than the fluorimetry. What is there? The experimental setup for the phosphorimetry is more complicated than for the fluorimetry. Hence, phosphorimetry has limited application. Phosphorimetry studies are done at the low temperature, whereas fluorescence measurements are done at room temperature. Phosphorimetry is more sensitive than the fluorimetry because scattering of light is less in phosphorimetry due to low temperature. Hence, phosphorimetry is preferred when sensitive measurements are to be done. In case of the complex sample, phosphorimetry is more selective than the fluorimetry. Comparison of the fluorimetry and phosphorimetry with the absorption methods. Selectivity or sensitivity of the fluorimetry and phosphorimetry are generally 10 to 10 raised to 3 times greater than the sensitivity of the absorption method. Fluorescent and fluorimetry and phosphorimetry have greater specificity and selectivity than the absorption method because in fluorimetry and phosphorimetry both the wavelength of the excitation and the wavelength of the emission are selected, whereas in absorption method only the lambda for absorption is selected. Absorption methods are widely used for larger number of compounds than the fluorimetry because a limited number of compounds show the fluorescence. These are the certain comparative point or comparison with respect to the absorption technique. Another part is their nephelometry and turbidimetry. Nephelometry is nothing but it involves the measurement of the scattered radiation. Scattered light is of the same wavelength as the incident light. And turbidimetry is nothing but it involves the measurement of decreased intensity of the incident radiation. And here you are going to measurement of scattered radiation. Non-elastic is there. Then next part of this unit is nothing but the factors affecting the scattering of radiation. Very much important question from the nephelometry turbidimetry. It comes in the exam for the 5 marks. Effect of concentration on scattering. When a light passes through a cell containing suspension, the intensity decreases due to the scattering by the suspended particles. The turbulence can be given by S can be given by equation analogous to the Beer-Lambert's law. S is equal to log to the 10 I0 by IT is equal to K. CL is equal to minus 10 log to the base 10 minus log to the base 10 T, where K is turbidity coefficient and T is the transmittance. Transmittance is IT by I0. In nephelometry, IS cannot be related to concentration. It is given by the relation IS is equal to Ks I0C. Ks is the empirical constant depend on the suspended particle and suspension medium. Suspended particle and suspension medium. Effect of the particle size in the scattering. The fraction of the light scattered at any angle depends to a large extent upon the size and shape of the particle is suspended. The fraction of the light scattered at any angle depends to a large extent upon the size and shape of the particles is suspended. Hence, it is important to control the particle size and shape. The factors which influence particle size during precipitation, like the concentration of reagent, rate and order of mixing of reagent, time allowed for particle growth, temperature, pH and ionic strength also affect turbidimetric and applimetric analysis. Effect of wavelength of light on scattering. The turbidity coefficient K is dependent on the wavelength of the incident light by K is equal to S lambda raised to T, where S is equal to constant for the suspension medium system. T is the depends upon the particle size. T is equal to 4 for particles smaller than the incident wavelength. T is equal to 2 for the particle dimensions similar to the incident wavelength. The wavelength of the light should be such that it is not absorbed strongly by the suspension medium. Effect of the refractive index on the scattering. Best results are obtained when there is appreciable difference between the refractive indices of the suspended particle and the suspension medium. This is the 5 marks question. Majority of the time comes in the exam. 4 point you have to 4 factors you have to explain. One is the effect of the concentration on the scattering, then effect of the particle size in the scattering, third wavelength of the light on the scattering, and fourth refractive indices of the refractive index on the scattering, effect of the refractive index on the scattering. These are the 4 basic point of difference, or so these 4 points you have to write while writing the answer for this particular question. Okay, this is the whole part about this unit 3. Here we have finished this unit 3. This phosphorimetry you have to do. See this particular thing that we have already discussed. It is similar to the fluorimeter, just a little bit change is there. The change is that only hollow cylinder we have used having the 2 slits in the circumferences which are equally spaced. A pair of rotating shutter with the opening is driven by motor, because when one window will be open, at that time one slit is open, at that time another will be the closed. When light enters from the one slit, then it will give out the emergent radiation out from the second slit. That we have to remember. Then working of the phosphometer is similar to the fluorimeter. The light from the xenon lamp passes into the, here height is there, you may have to write a light from the xenon lamp passes into the primary filter and fall on the sample. The sample cell of the fused part is kept in liquid nitrogen at minus 196 degrees centigrade in a Dewar flask. After the irradiation, the light is cut off using the rotating shutter. During the darkening, the phosphorescence light is allowed to pass through the second slit into the secondary filter. The emergent beam is then sent to the PMT when its intensity is measured. Resolution time, I said, is a time interval between the time of irradiation of the sample and the time of detection by the PMT. Then instead of this, whatever the filter is, nothing but a grating monochromator is used. This is the construction, very simple diagram. It is this shape you have to remember. Dewar flask is there. This arrangement is called as a Dewar flask with liquid nitrogen. This is whole assembly is a phosphoroscope. Okay, you can see here shutters are there. Okay, rotating shutters are there. This is the entry shutter and this is the exit shutter. Okay, please see this diagram. You can see that these two things are there. means they are rotating, because the light when goes inside then it will react with sample. When it goes inside it will close, and after that it will close, and the second window will open. From that this particular it uses the energy between which will send to the secondary filter, then to the PMT, where it will get amplified, current will be generated, and that will be the measured at the readout device. Okay. Applications, there are the limited applications for this meter. It is used in the trace analysis of a number of organic compounds with the conjugate reading system. It is used in the detection of the small amounts of this particular cocaine, procaine, and the phenobarbital in the blood serum. It is used in the determination of the aspirins in the blood serum and the plasma. It is frequently used in the biochemical and genome industry. Then we have seen the comparative point. 4 to 5 points are there. You can easily break up this point. Third point is that phosphorylated is more sensitive in the fluorimetry because sodium light is less in phosphorylated to the low temperature, hence phosphor. And the fourth point, in case of the complex sample, phosphorimetry is more selective. Then third point, you have to write this: phosphorimetry is more sensitive. Okay. Then we come to know this comparison of the fluorimetry and the phosphorimetry with the absorption methods. Few points we have to see, 2 to 3 points are there: sensitivity, and we have talked. Then we have seen the factors which affects the scattering of radiation. One was the effect of concentration, second one was the effect of particle size, then the effect of the wavelength of the radiation, wavelength of the light, and the fourth one was the effect of the refractive index. Okay, please read these things again and again. Please try to understand what is given there, because it is very simple and very nice units. Okay, all part is a descriptive one. Subjective questions will be there. Please prepare it well. If you have any doubt, any problem, you can freely ask. In the whole unit we have seen the four that particular techniques. One was the EPS, then the AIS. Now we have talked about the fluorimetry, phosphorimetry, turbidimetry, and nephelometry is also there, but you prepare only this part. It is very means this part is very much sufficient to score the good marks from this unit. The selected topic, that one question, that is factors affecting the scattering of radiation, that I have taken. Frequently this question comes in the exam for the 5 marks. 4 different factors are there that you have to explain in detail. Okay, please prepare this diagram, schematic diagram for the APS and AS, then the schematic diagram for the fluorimetry and the phosphorimetry. For the fluorimetry we have seen the single beam, double beam. If it is specifically mentioned single beam, double beam, then try to write that only. If they don't ask that single beam, double beam, then you can write any one from this particular two techniques, or say two instruments. Out of these two instruments you can explain any one of these. Please read this unit again and again. If you have any problem, any query, if you are not getting any part, you can freely ask on the WhatsApp group or say Google Classroom, as you wish. Please daily read all the part of this every paper, because reading is very much important. Reading will make you perfect. Okay, make the habit of the reading, because as I already said, the exam pattern may depends. It may be MCQ that subjective or say multiple choice. That's why you have to read all the part whatever is there in your syllabus. You have to read whole part. Then and then only you can come to know that how you can easily prepare that particular paper. Okay, if you have any doubt, you can ask, freely ask on the any mode. We will stop here. Here the third unit has been finished. Thank you.